Time to check out. I can actually clear my throat. I'm getting better, but I'm not Tarzan of the Apes yet. I can't pound my chest. 10 o'clock in the morning. Nothing like getting an early start. My nice Citizen thin watch. Love thin watches. $220 per day. I paid $50 tax in with a 10% discount if I stay for, what was it, 10 nights. Nice comfy bed, nice pillows. Don't know about the TV. I'm all packed up. And the only problem with this place, it was $50 tax in, minus 10% for my hotel's membership. Because the hot water takes about 10 minutes to get here. This is a big, old place. And I've got special carpet scissors to fix that, but I guess nobody else does. Otherwise, it's all right. Pay $50, get a rusty grab handle with different color paint. You get a noisy fan. It's not the cheapest fan, but it's noisy. And the shower head's a little low, but it's securely mounted to the stud. Genuine imitation marble. Things are sinking all over. Doesn't matter, there's a lip that goes up a half an inch, so it doesn't really matter. Got a nice door handle. That is not a $10 door handle. That is, let's see if we can read it. That's a Slage. That's an expensive door handle back in the day. Got really cheap toilet paper, cracked switch plate, but for $50, tax in, I had a decent night's sleep and got all my chute packed up. We're in Christiansburg, Virginia, and it is chilly. It was raining. Everything is hooked up, but not as well as it should be, because I noticed when I pulled into a gas station that it was going cling, clang, bing, bong, the witch is dead. My tow bar, my tow hook got loose on the frame, and I tightened those. This is not the best system. Maybe if I had two more U-bolts on either side, but I went to the tool store where I buy these U-bolts and he did not have any more. What this needs is two U-bolts through this bracket for more friction. This side seems to be fine. I tightened those bolts on the frame because they came loose previously when I towed this with the Mercedes ML. And they're loose again, so we'll get at the tool set. We've got our yucking. I had a problem yesterday, Houston. I'm going to show you what happened. We had a problem. We left South Carolina, up and down the little mountain roads, and I hadn't gone 30 miles, and the check coolant light came on. I said, those lights are always coming on. Nah. Then I noticed some speckles on my rear window, and I left my sunroof open last night. Oopsie. And then I noticed the temperature gauge was going like a tachometer. Uh-oh. And there was a guardrail, and I couldn't pull over because the shoulder wasn't quite wide enough for what I think would be a safe amount of space. So I went up the hill a little further, not that much further, pulled over onto the grass, and this thing was smoking. The temperature gauge was pinned, and if you've been watching my videos since last November, you know what happened, because I thought I cooked the motor. Does that sound familiar? Does this look familiar? Yep, exact same thing happened. But that one happened in New Jersey 300 miles before the end of my trip. This one happened 30 miles into my trip. This heater hose busted right off, right there. And the part that was in the heater hose is right here. And this is the quick disconnect fitting, so you bust off this here because you can't squeeze the tabbies too hard to get in there and squeeze them without breaking off the rest of that T-fitting. Because if this part's mush, the rest of it's mush. So I busted these off with my little Dollar Tree pocket knife. I pulled it off, there's a little O-ring in there. Used my vice grip on the clamp, slipped it back on, put my half a gallon of antifreeze that I had, and it wasn't enough because I drove up the road another couple hundred yards, that temperature gauge went whoop. So I sat on the side of the road for an hour, I-77, exit 62, And I called the auto club, and the woman says to me, "I'm sorry, sir, that vehicle is not on your covered policy." I said, "You, woman, I have no patience. It's covered." Because my auto club policy covers any vehicle that you're driving in or driving. Doesn't matter who it belongs to. Nice Chevy pickup. If you're driving in a vehicle and you have the Premium Auto Club, you are covered. She says, okay, what do you need? I said, I need 2 gallons of Prestone or 2 gallons of water. She said, all I can do is provide a tow truck and you have to be towed. I said, no. And I was out of patience. I said, how about this? How about you send a guy with 2 gallons of water, load me onto the tow truck, put the 2 gallons of water in on the tow truck, and then unload me, let me go on my way. I said, you need to talk to a superior and read your manual. You need to be re-educated. We're going to send you to North Korea to be re-educated. Anyways, half an hour later, the guy shows up with 2 gallons of drinking water because he called me and he says, I don't have any water here. I said, you don't even have a bottle of water? How about a case of water? He showed up with 2 gallons of water, filled her up. Oh, come on. This is a long dippy sticky. I filled up my 2 gallons of water, and 90 minutes later, I was on my way. And everything was copacetic. But actually, it wasn't. Hardware. There's my 2-gallon jug of drinking water. So I fired this baby up, and then I noticed another problem on the side of the road. So he followed me to the exit 62, and my brand new idler tensioner that I just greased was going like it was about to seize. I revved it up because it's still a cable-operated throttle, and that chicka went away. I took a chance, and I drove it down the road, and it's been quiet ever since. So I don't know why it was going. It was shaking. Like it wasn't happy. The air conditioning runs off a different belt. The air conditioning was working perfectly, nice and quiet. Of course, he didn't need it that much for the north he got. Let's crank this baby up and see what my idler tensioner is doing. You can hear my piston slap when the engine warms up. Alternator's charging. You can hear it whistling. And that idler tensioner is nice and smooth now, but it was chicking. Moving a good quarter inch. I don't know why. Oh, there's the piston slap. Hear it? Takes 30 seconds till it reveals itself. And once the pistons warm up, it goes away. Another problem I'm having is it won't rev above 1,900. If I'm real light into the throttle, everything's fine, runs smooth as could be. But if it downshifts in these mountains of Virginia, as soon as it downshifts, and I'm running at 50 miles an hour at 1,500, if it downshifts, it'll run up to 1,850, 1,900. As soon as it hits 1,900, it's blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I sound like a drunk, I know. So I don't know if the catalytic converter's blocked, which is what the report said from AutoZone that came with the Suburban Yukon. Have I got a blocked catalytic converter, broken inside? Have I got a weak fuel pump? And as soon as I'm off the throttle, smooths right out, no problem, no surging. As soon as it hits 1,900, like clockwork, it starts doing its dance. So that's the report. I'm gonna get out my ratchet set. Well, first I'm gonna put on a proper shirt because I'm a little chilly. It's probably 50 degrees, 10 degrees Celsius. I'm going to tighten up this tow bar, get my carb out of the S10 Blazer, and go on my way. Hard to believe. See, that piston slap is gone after a couple of minutes. All gone. Hard to believe that I changed that fender for a junkyard fender. Lined up pretty well. All I have to do is find some moldings and maybe tweak this door a little bit. Little dent over here, the paintless guy may be able to get that, the PDR guy. That fender has to be pushed in a bit, but actually it hides that praying from when this fender was bashed in. I got a nice shiny bumper. Need to get a couple of fog lights and maybe some 3/4 ton tow hooks. They seem to be bigger. See how nice and quiet it runs? And as soon as you rev it to 1900, it just starts doing its dance. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You back off and it immediately subsides, and we go on our way up and down the mountain roads at 35 miles an hour, which is not fast at all. 50, 55 kilometers an hour. So that's all the news there is. The hotel was all right. It's a big place. Lots of shingles on that roof. Thanks for watching.